Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. It's one of the first podcasts that we're doing with Arrow, so it's a real privilege and exciting for us at IBM. I'm Sinead Nestor, and I lead the Arrow relationship here at IBM. Mark, thank you so much for joining. Please, would you just speak a bit about your role at IBM and what you're doing at the moment?
Sure. My name's Mark Osborn. I'm the ecosystem leader for data and AI in EMEA. So I'm responsible for all of our business partners who are selling our data and AI software. And that includes, of course, our Watsonx portfolio in particular. So it's been an incredible year, coming in 2024 with the kind of roller coaster of what we've had with AI, and now we're heading into it never stops. We're now heading into this new year 2025, the year of agentic AI, and about actually implementing AI technologies within business, and it really continues to be at an amazing pace.
Oh, that sounds like a very busy, super exciting role that you've got there, Mark. You mentioned a bit about Watson. It's definitely a word that we hear a lot at IBM and of course Arrow as well. Could you just expand a bit on what's Watson? What does that mean?
So IBM is kind of like, you can think of it as like we're the 114-year-old AI startup, right? We basically we were there when AI was created. IBM scientists invented machine learning in 1956. Those who are old enough will remember IBM machine being the first computer to beat a human at chess, and we beat the Garry Kasparov, the chess champion, and then Watson came along, and that was a groundbreaking technology for original AI, and featured in a game show and in many customer solutions. And now with the advent of generative AI, and we now have our platform for generative AI for business called Watsonx. And what that is a set of tools and technologies to enable business actually get efficiencies and drive innovation through generative AI. And we all know, we've seen the stories, we've heard the hype, and some people talk about trillions of dollars potentially of potential growth for the world economy from generative AI. We've all played with things like that Chat GPT over the last year, and we've seen it's constantly in the news. But how do can I do anything that in my own business? What can I do with my customers to actually bring some value from this hype? And that's what we're doing with Watsonx. And we're looking at that challenge where, if you look at all of the sort of public kind of uses of generative AI and all of these big, they call them models, right? Foundation models like that are out there. They only contain about less than 1% of business data, right? It's mostly kind of public data straight from the internet, which is great for analyzing text and creating Shakespearean poems about Care Bears. I don't know, make it up, right? But how do I actually improve my HR processes? How can I actually do procurement better? How can I work with my customers better with this? And that's what we're all about. So we have technology for both, for bringing in that, connecting with your systems and with your own organizational data. And then on the other hand, then creating generative AI solutions that you can rely on as well, because we've all seen the kind of the scandals and the things that have gone wrong as well. So we create like a trusted platform that is designed for business, integrates for business, is easy to use for business, and is also trusted by business. And that's what Watsonx is, without before we get into the nitty gritty of it. That's what we're about. So we're not a consumer platform. We're not about personal productivity, level. So, I'm going to have a chat bot for my word processor, or my email. No, that's not what we do. We're about embedding AI into your business applications.
Perfect.
Right?
Well, yeah, that sounds, it leads me on to my next question, in fact, Mark, because I frequently hear, AI is a buzzword. I know that I need it. I know that it will help my business, but I just don't know where to start. I think you just alluded there that Watsonx is a great place for a B2B business company to implement Watsonx into their company and start getting immediate value out of it. One of the things that you said was about the HR. Could you speak a bit about how IBM has changed its HR process? Because I think that would be a really good use case to showcase what we're doing with our HR organisation here at IBM.
Yeah, it's a great example. In fact, it's one of the top 3 ways we see organizations really benefiting from AI. And that's the sort of automating processes. So generative AI, I see, is the way you can automate the unautomatable. That means that all of those things that aren't structured, if you've got structured data, we can have, databases and systems, and we can automate it, and we can have workflows, and it's all structured and linear. You come along with scrappy, messy text, human stuff. You can't automate that, can you? Right? I've got all these documents. I've got these conversations. I can't automate that. With generative AI, you can. Right? So all of that mess can be automated now, and that's really different. So what we've And going back to what I was talking about productivity, you have 2 types of productivity, right? You have personal productivity, and I can have some tools that make me more productive. So I can if I create a new presentation, my presentation tool my PowerPoint, whatever it is, I can have functionality that make me more productive. So I could put generative AI into that, and it could help me generate slides for me, right? It makes me more productive. And I like those toys, and I use them, and I get more productive. But maybe usually, I'm not picking on you, or somebody else, right, might not use those, and so they're not more productive, right? Even though the tools are there, right? However, if I put AI inside my processes, so if I take the IBM HR organization, right, and what we did there was we can now, as employees and as managers, have a conversation with our HR system. We call it Ask HR. And we can do jobs. So I can say, for example, I want to promote Mark Osborn, right? For example. And okay, behind that, there's all kinds of HR systems. There might be Workday, there might be SAP SuccessFactors, whatever you happen to have, right? And other things. There might be assessments of Mark's performance. There might be other links in there. The system can but I have that conversation, and I can go through all the steps of promoting or not promoting Mark Osborn in the process of a conversation with the system, right? And that means that we are reducing the amount of interaction of, where we don't need to have human intervention, because it's maybe a standard process that can be dealt with. And we've also got the interfacing of the systems. And if you imagine, you have 200,000 IBMers around the world, all more efficient in terms of their day-to-day HR process. That's a massive productivity gain. And that's very different to whether I happen to use a generative AI tool in PowerPoint versus you not using it. Because it's guaranteed. You and I will both be more efficient if the IBM HR system is efficient. But, so that's the impact.
Yeah, we'll ensure that the HR teams within IBM doing the really hard, tricky things that can't be done on the AI, and giving more focus to those trickier problems that we have.
Exactly. We're going to write, the right resources to write things, right? They're not doing admin processes. They're actually dealing with the complex topics.
Yeah, of course. So Mark, we've touched a bit on, how IBM can help Arrow partners on their AI journey. I just want to speak a bit about the IBM partner ecosystem that we've got. We made a huge investment a few years ago, back in 2023, to be a channel first business, which is brilliant. And we've been living and breathing that over the last couple of years. In order to put out such a program, we had to make quite large investments in how we interact and work with our partners. And we did sort of 4 big investments, I would say. we made sure that there was a margin-rich program for partners in our distributions to make money. We also ensured, we speak about this, Watson and all of our technology, Mark, but how do our partners skill up? And I think it's, if any listeners are thinking, right, yeah, I want to learn more about Watson and our data platform brand, where do you start? Well, first of all of the education that's available to us IBMers is available to our partner ecosystem free of charge. And I think it's a really key thing to mention to the listeners, because if you sign up to Partner Plus and you're already an IBM partner and you've got an IBM ID, this information is all at your fingertips to learn more about some of the things that we've been saying, and other platform brands as well. It's all on the portal. So I just wanted to raise that just as a point as education is skilling up.
It is there, and actually we even give our partners some incentive to get skilled as well, right? So that's there. So you actually benefit from having those skills in your organization as well. In the program, obviously, the more skills you have, the better you're selling, and you benefit from that. But we also give you that little extra incentive there as well. And so, yeah, it's all there online. We've got our tech zone, which is our technical environments available to all of our partners. All of the sales collateral that IBMers have access to is available, so you get access to the portal. That's all there. And then we run a whole range of events for our partners. And the other thing I would also like to highlight is that Arrow have got an excellent set of facilities in the generative AI and Watsonx space. They've actually got a lab. They have a whole system deployed out of the Arrow lab. It's based in Sweden, but it's available across to any partner in Europe. And so you can actually use that for POCs and for demonstrations and other environments. It's available through Arrow with, Watsonx is deployed on that, our whole data platform's on that. So you can use that in many different ways, and they've got a whole range of capable architects to support you, right? So that's the Arrow side. On the IBM side, of course, we've made a big investment, especially this year, in data and AI specialists to support our partners. So we've got a fleet of technical specialists for AI, for data, for databases. Some of our best and brightest are assigned to partner-facing territories, right? And it's literally their job to support you as a partner and become more capable. And some excellent sellers are working with them as well, who I'm sure you know. We've got that group, and then the icing on the cake, the secret sauce, is our client engineering teams, right? Now, the client engineering teams are there to work, as the name suggests, with clients. So they get engaged. They don't do enablement and training, but our technical sellers will do that with you. But the client engineering, what they do, they work on opportunities, right? They are there to help you get that first reference, particularly in the Watsonx space, to help you win and so you can make a repeatable offering, right? Because we are a platform. We're not, and we went back to the personal product. We're not an app. You can't, install Watsonx on your desktop and let it run. No, you need to make an offering that actually helps your customers generate value. So that could be, we gave the example of HR. It could be around procurement. It could be a lot of them around customer care and customer service. Got all kinds of examples there as well. But we want to work with you, with your anchor customers, to get that reference, and then we can take with you an offering market in the area where you are the best, right? That could be the industry where you are the best. It could be the line of business where it could be with technologies that you particularly understand. We want to work with you on that. So, and that's where client engineering comes in. Let's get that first win, that first reference with client engineering, working alongside the Arrow Lab, right? And we can be incredible. We're set up for incredible success, right? With business-oriented generative AI, right? That's and that's where we've got that massive differentiator.
That's super interesting, Mark, and I'm so glad you brought up those two USPs, I feel, for both Arrow and IBM. The Arrow lab in Sweden, I've been involved in. we're taking partners over to the lab next month. It's really
awesome.
building up
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, it's really building up some traction here with our partners to go and learn and visit Sweden and see that centre of excellence. And client engineering, of course, we really see it as a differentiator for us at IBM to work on, as you say, getting out that first reference, working on the really tricky problems that we think, God, how do we solve that? But this team is there to do just that, and that's their real sweet spot. And I just want to say, it sounds really, what's the price tag on that? Well, listeners, you'll be pleased to hear it's free of charge. It's a service that IBM don't charge for.
Let me correct you there.
Yeah.
We don't charge for it. However, you need to be engaged as well as a partner. So the price, right, is you need to match the engagement. So your technical team needs to be working alongside client engineer. Otherwise, it's complete waste. We can come in, client engineer can do it all, and at the end of the day, what have we achieved? However, if your team is there, if your technical resources are there, co-creating
better
with client engineering, right? Then you can then do the next one, maybe not even by yourself, but you do more yourselves, right? With client engineering supporting you. So, and we can all be more successful together. So I say it's free, but right, we want you to co-create with us. I think that's the condition there, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a great give that we're providing there.
Thanks, Martin. Yeah, good caveat there. I think it just goes to show that we're serious about our ecosystem journey, and we want you to come and join us. I'm in the York Road space here in London. This is our London office. I'm in the quantum room today.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool, right? It's all sort of blue and
we've got a replica behind me of the quantum computer. But this is the point, this. I'm on the 5th floor. It's our innovation studio. We want you to come and co-create. We want you to visit us. And this floor is all about show me, not tell me. I've sat in this room sort of on purpose to show in the background that we showcase our technology in this way. Really give you
it's not a virtual background. It's real, right?
It's real. It's not a Teams. I really hear.
You need to screenshot that and keep it, and you can always be in the quantum room, right?
Yeah, that's my new home.
But that's another. So that's a good point, right? We talked about the Arrow Lab, right? Yeah. From Arrow. We've talked about an expanded fleet of technical specialists for partners, and our sellers for partners, right, from the data and AI point of view, and from our other brands as well, actually, to be fair. And we talked about the secret sauce, client engineering for co-creating.
Yeah.
And then there's another one, which you just mentioned, which is the innovation studio, which is amazing location with the views of the London Eye and the quantum computer room and other activations as well. But guess what? Partners can use this space. It's free for partners to invite. You can invite customers, you can run events, it's open to all of our partners.
Absolutely. This space is phenomenal. And again, back to that investment that IBM are making in our partners and our clients too, of course. This space is fabulous. It's got rooms to cater for every size within reason, and beautiful views over the London Eye. And there's events here, there, every day. There's an event going on at the moment. So yeah, book in early. But again, this is
book in early.
That's
the tip. That's the only thing, right? For second half already, right?
Yeah, we come and talk to us. We'd love you to show you the space and use it to showcase IBM technology to your clients and your partners as well. That's really key.
Great. Well, it's been great talking to you, and I just really excited about what we can do with Arrow partners this year, especially with the massive investment Arrow's made. And I mean, also enablement. So we had a level 4 training at the end of last year as well, right? Which is Arrow hosted kindly at their location with all of their partners and the IBM specialists as well. So, we've got the opportunity here. I think we can really do some great business. But yeah, again, I would say use cases for Watsonx. Let's think about that, right? Process automation internally, so digital labor, HR being one of them, procurement, um, internal IT self-service, and those sort of areas, and then customer care being the other one, right? Working with clients and supporting them, right? That's the other side. Those are the sort of the low-hanging fruit, and then we're seeing other areas, like anything around legal contracts. Recruitment, right, is another one where you've got a lot of tech space. These are other areas where we're seeing a lot of use cases coming through, and partners being incredibly successful around that.
Yeah, Mark, you've just probed something we haven't really spoken about is the governance piece in relation to AI, and IBM's done a lot of research around this and a lot of messaging. Could you just speak a bit about what we're doing and what our opinion is on the governance of AI and ethical AI?
Yeah, ethical AI, I mean, that's super important. And again, that's a big differentiator from us. So, we differentiate ourselves on trust. And that's something that we take from the ground up. So we have our AI models or any other third-party models that we host. We review them for suitability. Our own models have been completely cleansed and of bad content, and they are with so much to the point where we actually indemnify our customers against any claims, copyright claims or other claims in use of our models, right? And that's the first kind of foundation of trust. We also, it's all open source, so it's published, right? Everything we do is published. We don't close source it. You can go in and you can see exactly where the content's come from. So it's an open book approach. So that's about trust. And that's very different from a lot of other vendors out there in the marketplace. Not all. Some other vendors do that too, right? Which is great. But for us, that's the foundation point. And then the other side of the coin is governance, right? So for trust, right? So you have to, AI, there are risks, there are hallucinations, right? It can go wrong and it can be hacked. So you need to have a governance process in place to ensure that it is monitored, that you've documented your compliance with any rules and regulations. So if you're dealing with any customer in the EU, you need to comply with the EU AI Act, and you need to be able to audit that. So we have Watsonx governance that can do that for you, that can monitor what you're doing, and can actually watch for drift and hallucinations within your solution. And again, it's about trust. And in fact, actually, Watsonx governance, you could deploy that and not have anything else from IBM, right? Because it's the most comprehensive and open governance offering. There is no other offering. Like, there are some other vertical points within other vendors, but there's no one that goes across all AI vendors like ours, and so it all work, with Amazon SageMaker and on Azure, and with other vendors as well. So it can monitor all of your requirements. So governance is and trust is the foundation. Otherwise, it gives you the freedom to innovate if you've got the trust.
Yeah,
you stop worrying about the risks of AI and start thinking about what can I do with it when that foundation's in place.
Agreed. I think as long as you've got the guardrails and you're confident that you've got those guardrails in place and you've got the trust around it, I think then it becomes really interesting and innovative. As you say, hallucination, you only have to Google that and you can read some real horror stories. Working in the B2B space with company data, you just don't want to be in a position of implementing something where there is no governance, because it's really dangerous and could, harm brand, customer data, you name it, some real, you only have to Google it, as I said. So knowing that IBM has that policy and has that in place, I think is a real differentiator for us in the AI space. So thank you for the insight there, Mark.
Okay, well, look, it's been great having this conversation, and I'm really excited what we're going to do with Arrow and their partners, and I'm really looking forward to an incredibly successful year together.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mark. And thanks for the insight. I think call to action for all our Arrow partners is make use of the Arrow lab based in Sweden, and please get in contact with myself or the IBM team or your Arrow account manager. and I'm sure they will signpost you to Christian Palander, who heads up that AI lab. Get in touch if you want to learn more about our AI and data capabilities. AI is infused in all of our product areas, not just the data platform. And it's been a great conversation. Thanks, Mark, for your insight. It's great to learn from you, and I hope the listeners enjoyed. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, Sinead.